We're with James Hinchcliffe. Okay. James, we know you from IndyCar as a race car driver and as a very accomplished race car driver. Now we know you as an accomplished dancer in a sense. Talk about the matching challenges between being a good dancer and being a great IndyCar driver.
You know, I think what it all comes down to is, obviously they're very different disciplines. You know, they're very different crafts, but, you know, at the end of the day, one of the secrets to being successful at either is just, it's hard work. It's putting in the effort. You know, it's a lot of hours that I spent, you know, building my craft as a driver and getting to this level and competing at this level. And, you know, it's the same thing with dancing. It's not something that I have, you know, a couple decades of experience doing. And so the effort of trying to learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible is even more important. And so the hours that you put in and the time you spend really committing to learning is the key.
Okay, compare your dancing partner to your team partners.
Well, I mean, like racing, you know, with what we're doing, the type of dancing we're doing on the show, it's not an individual sport. It's very much a team effort. You know, in my case, obviously, I have to rely massively on my partner Sharna for obviously all the creative stuff, all the choreography, the musicality, wardrobe design, set design. I mean, I think people underestimate probably a little bit, at least certainly I did before I came on the show, how much workload is really on the pros for this. It's not just teaching someone to dance. It's creating that dance from square one. It's creating, like I said, the costumes, all the set design, some of the camera angles. So there's a lot of effort that goes in on the pro side before we even get to the first rehearsal to start learning the dance. So, I mean, she is far and away the most important member of the team, but it very much is a team effort.
Hinchcliffe sounds like a powerful name from the old ages, from the Middle Ages. What is the history of your last name?
It's British. My father's from England, and there's a long lineage of Hinchcliffes over in the UK, so it comes from that side. And yeah, I mean, we'd like to think maybe it sounds a bit regal, but who knows if there's actually any power or significance in it from years past.
In any kind of racing, winning is the ultimate goal. But at times you have to settle for whatever finish you can get, because overall, that's the proper thing to do. How do you transfer that to dancing?
You know, I think it's a similar concept in a lot of ways. You know, racing's very unique compared to normal, you know, team stick and ball sports, in the sense of, in those sports you have one opponent any given game or event or whatever, and there's a winner and there's a loser. In racing, that's not the case. You know, we face 20 to 30 opponents every single week, and only one wins. You know, so it's a difficult mindset for a competitive person to be like, hey, a 6th place today is an okay result. You know, like, those are the kind of days you need to have peppered in with your first, seconds, and thirds to really make a championship bid. Dancing, in the way the show is formatted, is very similar. You know, you want to be consistent across. You don't have to have 10s every week. Well, you can't have 5s every week. You can have a little bit of ebb and flow. There are going to be dances that suit you better than others, just like there's tracks that suit you better than others, but you've got to think long term. Okay,
one final question. What encouraged you to become a race car driver, and why an IndyCar driver?
You know, for me, my love of racing came from my father. Being from the UK, open wheel motorsports especially is very, very big over there, and he came over to Canada, where I grew up in the 70s, and was a big motorsports fan. So as a kid growing up, I had a big open wheel racing influence in my life through my dad. And, you know, we watched Formula One certainly, but IndyCar really got to me because we had the race in Toronto. The Indy in Toronto started the year I was born, and my dad started taking me when I was a year and a half old. So growing up, I saw Indy cars running around the streets that I, you know, grew up on essentially, and I chased Michael and Mario around the paddock for autographs and all the rest of it. And I think that's a large reason why my heart was always in IndyCar racing.